You've listened to the voice in your head for so long that you've started calling it you, but it was never you. It was conditioning, memory, fear, pain repeating itself through thought. Most people wake up and immediately they enter psychological warfare, and not with the world, but with themselves. Before they even touch the day, the mind begins. What if I fail? What if they reject me? What if I'm not good enough? What if something goes wrong? And they don't realize something terrifying. The brain will repeat familiar suffering before it allows unfamiliar freedom, because the mind does not worship happiness. It worships survival. So if suffering became familiar to you, your brain has learned to protect it. That's why some people sabotage love, sabotage opportunities, sabotage growth, and sabotage themselves. And not because they want pain. That's not what they're looking for. Wow. But because the nervous system trusts what's familiar more than it trusts what could be possible, what is possible. And this is where your entire life changes. Because once you understand this, you stop believing every thought that you hear. You begin observing the mind instead of obeying it. And that is the beginning of power. Thoughts are not commands, okay? They're echoes of memory, echoes of fear, old identities trying to survive. But awareness is higher than thought. The moment that you watch the mind, okay? Watch the mind without becoming the mind, you separate consciousness from conditioning. And suddenly the voice loses authority. This is why silence changes people, and not because silence is magical, but because silence exposes the noise that you were unconsciously serving. And most people are terrified of silence because silence removes distraction. To some people, that can be very dangerous. How many people do you know that can't sit with themselves for even 10 minutes without picking up their phone, scrolling, opening up apps, closing them, distracting themselves in some way, shape, or form, other than sitting with themselves? And when silence disappears, they meet the unresolved self underneath all that noise, the insecurity, the grief, the fear, the emptiness, the identity built around survival. But listen carefully. You don't heal by fighting the darkness. You heal by becoming larger than it. And the moment that you stop reacting to every fearful thought is the moment that your mind loses control over your state. Your presence changes, your energy changes, your relationships change, your decisions change. Because reality responds different to people who are no longer enslaved by internal chaos. The strongest people in the world are not the loudest. They're the ones who can hear fear without surrendering to it. It's the refusal to bow to the noise. So the next time your mind says you can't, you're behind, you're going to fail, you're not enough, you're not doing enough, you're not doing it quick enough, sit still and breathe and realize something. That voice has spoken before, and it has been wrong many times. You do not rise by obeying every thought. You rise by becoming conscious enough to learn and understand which thoughts deserve your energy. That is freedom. And once a person learns how to separate themselves from the noise, they become very difficult to break. And the moment that you realize that you are not the voice in your head is the moment that your prison door opens. So please, stay grounded, stay close.